right, we'll call this meeting to order at 5:30-ish. 5:33 to be exact.
Perfect.
Do we? Oh, we need a roll call. Yes.
Yes. Director Stanisek,
I'm here.
Director Leach.
Here.
Thank you.
Any public comments?
Nope.
Cards, letters?
Nope. Smoke signals.
No
nothing.
smoke signal except over Pendleton right now. Okay. First item for discussion then, we'll open it up is draft version of the mission and vision statements.
So,
How we want to deal with that one?
in your packet was the version y'all were trying to do without me.
Thank you.
I took an opportunity to draft some things from the video of the meeting.
Right.
It was obviously much more difficult in real time for you guys to try to capture everything.
Yeah.
I had some time to go back and review. We had some sentences that didn't make full linkage sense.
Okay.
So, if you can let me share my screen.
There,
Or you go to me. Over here, and allow the three buttons up there, whatever it is. You allow share or table this. Or you might have to do it from the bottom. So we'll do a little down arrow on the screen share. Down. And multiple.
there we go.
That should allow me to share my screen. My screen share is loading. So hopefully that will work here in a second. Come on. Oh, you can do it.
I can see it on my end.
You can?
Yeah, on my end, it gives me two options for which screen to look at, and I just chose to look at yours.
Okay. All right, well.
So, I'm not sure how to do it on your end, but I can definitely see it. It's the document with the black vision and then some red notes underneath, right?
Yep, that's it. So, not sure why. No, it would be on Biggie's for whatever reason.
Right.
Why Biggie isn't sharing, I'm not sure, but, I'll read to you, Bill, you can follow along here, obviously. So the
Yeah.
vision you guys were working through started with nationally recognized. Okay, so here's my initial challenge. There are no national associations for special districts at this point.
Mhm.
So to say that we're nationally recognized is like saying we're walking on, some made up planet. So I have concerns about saying that. What I'd like to recommend is that we use one of the pieces that you all discussed, which was a California recognized. That way we can be consistent with ACHD and CSDA as a California recognized health district. And then I wanted to follow along with some of the other pieces that you put, which is a California recognized health district that delivers the highest quality health and wellness programs and services to support a greater lifespan for the local community. And what that does is that takes out some of the redundancy that you both ended up putting in both vision and mission.
Mhm.
So when we get to mission, you'll see that we built in the strategic partners component.
Okay.
That was important in the second part of the
Yeah.
conversation. So Bill, you can see that. I'm not sure why it doesn't want to share here.
Yeah, no, I can see it for sure. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if it's the same on your end, but on my side, on the top left, corner, there's like a little toggle from which screen to look at. There's two options. So
Yeah, mine just goes, your video versus the agenda one, but the screen sharing that I pulled up. Let's try.
yeah, nope, yeah, I just switched. So yeah, I could look at Raquel's screen as well. Either one.
All right, well,
Sorry.
anyway, we'll keep pushing that forward. And then Mike,
That's why I do the meeting from my car. All the advantages here.
Staying home on Zoom.
So basically what that vision statement does is it takes a lot of the conversation you all had about the idea of being recognized for excellence.
Right.
Which is what we're working toward with ACHD as well as CSDA.
Right.
It also starts to then take that very clear statement that we're delivering the highest quality of health and wellness programs and services. And then preserving that original statement about a greater lifespan. What I heard from the recording is we were gonna ditch the independence statement since we don't really, that's not really within our scope to be able to support. So that's what I boiled back down out of your vision statement.
Understood.
The one that you guys put forward was nationally recognized health district delivering the highest quality health and wellness services, partnerships and programs to support a greater lifespan. Because the partnerships and programs are integral to the following statement of our mission.
Yeah.
I left it from there. So.
Understood.
Let me.
I think when we were wrestling around the vision statement, we were trying to capture how do we set ourselves above other districts, right? Trying to capture an element of, you know, we're really doing something special here, being recognized through presentations we might be doing at other organizations or best practices that are being talked about, stretching to that kind of a level of work. Because a vision statement, I mean, they start melding and start sounding the same to me in vision, mission. I mean,
Right.
That's where I was really looking to try to separate those things out. And I'm not sure how to capture that. I think we are kind of wrestling with the same type of what we're trying to do here.
Without being redundant
Correct.
of the two.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where I think even with the existing one, we have some redundancy. And vision to me is a very high mark goal strategy place that the organization wants to get to. And mission is what you're doing to get there.
Right.
So you guys have to be very comfortable. You have to be ultimately comfortable with that particular element of it. So I think we rattled around quite a bit, a lot of ideas. I think we're taking it another level forward, which is great, and changing the existing one, because that definitely needed some work. How we get that and how we want to be recognized, or how the staff feels they want to, feel like there's this place we're trying to achieve that isn't being achieved yet, or is a possibility down the road.
Right.
I was even wrestling with, in 5 years, we will have a functioning urgent care. I mean, even a very straightforward something like that, those are all things.
If we had a singular purpose and a singular goal, that makes perfect sense.
No, I understand. So I understand that. There's just a lot of things bouncing around in my head in terms of,
right.
What's going to get people excited, what's going to get the community excited. When people see, they go, oh, that's awesome. That's
Right.
exactly what you guys should be doing.
Right. Well, and I like the original conversation you all had about either national or state recognition. Currently, we're unknown for the most part, even though we're working towards that and we're seeing some movement in ACHD.
So having a state recognized would be a big deal.
Right.
Where we are today.
Right.
Which is great.
And when we hit that level in 2 years, 3 years, let's go ahead and change it. And by then there may actually be that National Association for Special District.
Yeah.
Which they are working to form currently.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was why I nixed your national
No.
and went back to the state.
Yeah, and I think the national came up because it doesn't really exist today. How does that happen? Do we end up driving to some sort of national
Well,
process? I don't know.
we will be part of the advocacy group through CSDA
Yeah.
to help develop that national.
Yeah.
Currently that national is still trying to define what a special district is.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
let them figure that out and then we can join in. So let me jump over to the mission conversation because I feel like that is an important piece here. The mission conversation that y'all jumped into really, the essence of what I got from that was that you wanted to acknowledge not only the funding, allocation of resources, whatever terms, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But also the important impact of skilled partners as far as, you know, our board and volunteers and such. And staff.
Yep.
And how the funding and the staff tie together toward this common goal. The problem with how it came out to be written was we had two disparate sentences that didn't link together toward an end goal. We have this and we have them, but they do what? And that was the part that got discussed a great deal, but we had no final consensus. So I took a stab at doing a little more writing to try and fill that in. And my sentence that I came to, hold on, I keep moving my own stuff around, was by directing resources, and or we could change this to by directing grant funds to community nonprofits and engaging highly skilled staff, partners, and passionate volunteers, the Fallbrook Regional Health District is able to offer health and wellness services to our served communities of Bonsall, Duluth, Fallbrook, and Rainbow. So it is what we do, either directing resources or granting funds.
Yep.
I liked directing resources more than just granting funds, only because we are also connecting our entities together, and many of those have no actual funds transfer, but it is a allocation of resources.
Exactly, there's still support there.
Right.
I agree.
So we're directing resources to community nonprofits and highly engaged, skilled, or engaging highly skilled staff, partners, and passionate volunteers. So by directing resources to community nonprofits and engaging highly skilled staff, partners, and passionate volunteers, the Fallbrook Regional Health District is able to offer health and wellness services to our served communities of Bonsall, Duluth, Fallbrook, and Rainbow.
Do we see those changing at all in the next 5 years?
The communities?
Yeah, community
No.
going bigger or smaller,
No.
attracting or?
The LAFCO requirement to add in or subtract communities is laborious. Bill, I
Okay.
think you were on the board the last time they did a boundary change. And we gave that one
Yeah.
small,
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, we ended up giving that little small slot in like that Sleeping Indian area over to Oceanside.
right,
But yeah, like Rachel said, I mean, the whole LAFCO process, you can kind of get a feel for what's happening with the water company.
Yeah.
Any sort of changes in boundaries, it's a pretty significant deal or whatever, and would require a number of potential steps, and
Okay,
probably not happening.
that makes sense. I like the specificity of it. I mean, it's very clear that who's in, who's out.
right. And part of the reason I tucked those communities back in there is by going with our district name, Fallbrook Regional,
Yes.
it's important that because all of you as directors touch at least 1 to 2 of those different areas.
Yep.
We've noticed that some folks aren't comfortable if the communities aren't called out specifically.
That makes sense.
So I
Okay.
did love the term of served communities, so I wanted to make sure we kept that. But this way we're talking about directing resources. We're talking about the engagement of staff, partners, and volunteers.
The web we weave,
the web we
that's
weave,
what it really comes down to.
and
Putting
then
all these things together.
And then the things that we do, we offer health and wellness services.
Mhm.
So whether we're offering them as employee, or as partnered, where we're funding someone else, or we're offering it in that our employees are actually running the program. So that's where, that's what I took out of
That's good.
your conversations.
If you guys are comfortable with it, I'm just, that's the process.
Right,
Dartboard, throw darts, tune it to your comfort level and what you think is best for the organization, and that's how I like to see the process working, so I'm fine with that.
well, if you guys are good with that, I took your initial work, wordsmithed a little, and I teased you that I was gonna do that. We could take this as the new draft. To the board at the meeting on the 9th. I left the values statement pretty much as y'all discussed. It fits.
Just wanna make sure it captures kind of how the organization is today and how it's moving forward, and I think it did. I think it's still broad enough where it captures the things that are important for all of us.
And it was written, in 2020, so
Okay.
it's not as old as the other two statements.
That's good. All right. I'm fine. Bill, sound good?
Yeah,
think-
no, I like the way it sounds for sure. I definitely appreciate the work that everybody's done on this, and Rachel kind of going over everything and kind of trying to fine tune everything. Also just kind of want to throw out there too, as far as the recognition, that the district's definitely gotten some recognition in the past, at least in the state level, from ACHD at a number of their different meetings for a number of our programs. So if we were to put California Recognized Health District, I think that that's factually correct. And if anybody were to ask how it was recognized, I think we would be able to kind of point to that and say, hey, there's some definite instances where we've been recognized by ACHD. So.
Absolutely, and with our recent certification through ACHD coming back online, again, that's movement towards a higher standard of how we're visioned. So.
Yeah.
Something that just hit me on this too, and I don't know if this has ever been done, but community surveys of,
We've done lots of community surveys, but I would say we probably will be due for another one in probably, I would say, at the end of this fiscal year, because by then we'll have a full year of programming done out at the Wellness Center.
right,
And that will give Jasmine a chance to actually have gone through the whole process of our various events.
yeah, I think somehow, I don't know if there's a process in place yet, but there's a baseline benchmarking that makes sense to probably do right about now or the next 6 months, just to see kind of how is the district viewed? What do people think is working, not working?
Mhm.
And then start building, every couple year tracking mechanisms, say, how are we doing toward those ends? Because that's how I also like to just say, how are we measuring ourselves in terms of our impact?
Right,
That's really important, and how we're addressing key community issues or false beliefs
mhm,
and turning those into
Mhm.
positives. Because I think we're seeing a transition right now. I
Yes.
really do believe that.
yeah,
I think through the things we're seeing online, the number of programs, the participation that's occurring, places where we're being recognized in other forums.
mhm.
That's also important in driving this thing forward, because that shows that, there is a true impact.
Yeah.
So,
I think we can talk about what the true flat baseline was. I would suggest we probably start with Teresa's start date. Because we didn't really have a regular ongoing method of communication till she got here. We had this, massive bump for a while before I got here, when there was a lot of activity. And then it went quiet for a while, and then COVID hit,
Yeah.
and so you had this weird anomalous bump.
right.
spike of stuff.
Right.
Obviously, we got to come out of that, and then I think with Teresa coming on board, that's when you saw our first true consistent, methodical attempt at a regular communication pattern.
Right.
That's about the same time that, North County Fires, communications really started in earnest with us.
Mhm.
So I would say that's a good point of start.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, COVID was kind of messy, but I think we're at a place now where there's a lot of activity. There might be a good time to do some sort of baseline. I don't know what that even looks like. I just haven't think about it.
Right.
But if you're not measuring, you don't know how you're doing.
Right.
So that's kind of the.
And again, I would kick that to the spring being the first, because that gives us that full amount of time of
Yep.
real start of actions of programs and not just one-off groups
Yeah.
who came and met, but actually started activity over there. And, with all the change of staff in this building,
Exactly.
again, you'd start to see that this is where we started. And in the spring, you'll see that we'll hit that 1 year mark for that.
Yes, yes, and I think, just the impacts of seeing checks being handed out on social media. I mean, all these things are starting to build the blocks, and, I had a conversation with an individual, I don't know when it was, earlier this week, about, the question again about urgent care. And then the other one is, what about a stabilization unit? These things are kept coming up all the time in questions, and,
Right.
I think we just keep marching toward what's the next hurdle.
Right.
Good. Well, I'm glad this was good discussion. I'm happy the way it went. I appreciate everybody's engagement in it. It's a hard process.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not
and
easy.
it's not done.
No,
I mean, we'll
it's-
take it to the board.
no, I understand, but when you get it tuned to a point where we've got something to present, that's good.
Yeah.
And now we've had some good discussions, and it's gotta fit also what you feel and what the organization feels too. It's not a board thing, it's a organization thing. So, excellent. We'll call that one on to the next board meeting.
Perfect.
Cool. Let's see, update. Yeah. Want to see I'm always fascinated when people come on board to an organization and what their observations and what they're thinking and what they would see and what are the opportunities that pop up after 30 days. It's a learning experience for everybody because everybody sees it in a different way. So that's kind of what prompted that. And I was hoping that was something that would be of value just to everybody hear kind of what your thoughts are and what you're excited about and what you see as opportunities.
Yeah, so in the first 30 days, I kind of came on and it took some of the stuff that Teresa was doing off her plate, but also making sure it's more consistent
Mhm.
because she has the center to run and that is
A little bit going
a
on.
beast of its own. So a lot of it was making sure that we are posting more in Facebook groups,
Mhm.
being consistent with our social media. I have tackled with boosting some of our posts, specifically our district events coming from Wellness Wednesday to the Pool and Safety CPR, which we've seen more engagement with the groups, and also if people do have questions, making sure that I respond to it in a timely manner, so that people do notice like, okay, someone is seeing my comments or someone's seeing my questions and that they get addressed. And that also, if they do, even down to sometimes in Facebook groups for friends of Fallbrook, people ask about resources and I will sometimes respond and kind of navigate them towards Katya.
Yeah.
Saying like, hey, we have this person here, and that she might already have those connections. So that it kind of bridges the olive branch, so it kind of brings back into the community. I have taken over our monthly email in terms of all the lovely events that we have going on at the Wellness Center. And I've kind of played with the formatting of it, trying to shorten it down so that it's not a mouthful.
Right.
So it kind of gives people like just hit key points so that they can see the
Good.
dates and see if they want to be interested in. And I've kind of noticed in some of the reporting in the heat map, a lot of people view just the calendar. So that's what they click on a lot, or some of the district events at the top. So I make sure to always put our stuff at the top as a priority And then also making sure to announce any new partner events that we have going on.
Right.
So that it's that two-way communication that partner knows we are also promoting them
Mhm.
and that they're included in our communication.
Yeah, it's great. I was also, I like seeing that some of the partners, the grant partners actually did post their check picture.
Yes.
So the cross pollination is awesome. That's very helpful. And I was encouraged to see that. In fact, I've just seen, everything's kind of pumped up a bit. I'm seeing a lot more of the feeds and it's great to see. So thank you for that. Well,
And-
everyone.
I'd like to add to Jasmine's statement here, after reviewing the last meeting. Bill, you had mentioned a list of things that you wanted us to make sure we were addressing, which had to do with basically overall strategy, which had to do with posting posts, press releases, that type. So just so you know, we've had an internal conversation, Jasmine and I, about what kinds of things get boosted versus not. Obviously, she already talked about all the groups, so Rainbow Cares, Friends of Fallbrook,
Fun in Fallbrook,
Bonsall,
Bonsall. Friends of Bonsall.
Friends of Bonsall, anyway, all of the miscellaneous groups.
Yep.
Um, So Bill, to your point, we do have a boost strategy that we're working on here. So that is being, built into the conversation with Jasmine on that. And then you had talked about press releases. That is absolutely something that has been very hit or miss here. Depending on who had time to try and write it. Teresa would give it to me, I would give it to her, neither one of us would get it done. I've already kicked one over to Jasmine. We're working on the draft for that. So we'll build that in again also as part of that larger strategy. So she didn't mention that, but that's another part of what she's doing. We're working on a draft right now that is specific to the North County Fire Ambulance.
Yeah.
We initially went to Danny and Jasmine and I said, you two go forth, carry on, let's see what we get. And Danny said, I'll give you the first draft. And as you might imagine, it was very slanted towards what North County Fire is offering. And I pretty much didn't even have a chance to nix that before Keith provided some additional information. Jasmine and I had a conversation. We added a lot more detail to it. So I'm in the process of editing a couple things so that our voice is consistent and fairly represents the input of both special districts. So Bill, to your point from the last meeting, those pieces are going to be built in. Same thing with the association leverages. Jasmine and I had an initial kind of email exchange with Teresa about some of the various programs that could get recognized through CSDA as a best practice or ACHD. Some of those applications take considerable effort to put forward. So we're tasking that over to Jasmine as well, since she's now getting in touch with a lot of the programs. So I wanted to close the loop back on your previous meeting comments.
Good deal. No, I appreciate that. I think that Jasmine's doing a great job so far, and I'm glad to hear her report out as well. It's nice to hear, kind of how some of that's going, and I think that it's definitely it bears out that having somebody in house for us versus over at North County Fire, kind of doing this stuff, definitely is working out a lot better. So. My only advice, I guess, or thought on that would be to try to reach out to as many of the nonprofit groups and find out who runs their social media. To Mike's point, I've definitely kind of I went through like the post and all the links and went back through on some of those grant partners, and it's definitely kind of hit and miss. Some of them posted, it was a great post, it probably got a lot of reach, and some of them didn't say anything. So I know that there's like a contractual obligation for them to recognize some of the stuff, but I mean, it'd probably be good to kind of figure out who's running the different accounts and just give them a friendly nudge, like, hey, we'd like to get, some more kind of cross engagement there. But it's been great. And I think the idea of the checks kind of being the cornerstone of a lot of that marketing definitely worked out pretty well. So really happy to see the way that that's going. And as a committee, if there's anything we can do to help make that easier for you as far as engaging the social media or any of that, please bring it back to the committee, and we'll try to do whatever we can to make that happen.
Well, I think you two as the committee are also the only ones that actually have social media. So, I would say, obviously, helping promote the engagement on that, liking and sharing into your own personal networks. We can't require that, obviously.
No, I have forwarded some things and trying to just expand it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
I have at least 200 followers, so I'll definitely do that on my end. It'll go viral instantly.
Yeah.
I think the other one, you brought up a good point, Bill, too, on the people that didn't engage, that were part of the picture taking ceremony. I guess the question is that's literally a 3-minute exercise to get somebody to pop.
That presumes they either have social media, have someone who actually does it on a regular basis. I will tell you before.
Well, I had gone through the posts, and I clicked on the little hyperlinks to their pages, and the ones that I don't have my paper right here, but I wrote some notes, and there was the ones that I saw had a social media account, were actively posting about some trivial type stuff, and didn't have any sort of post on the check. So I mean, I get it. I'm sure some of them don't have anything, or they weren't really actively engaging in the post, but the ones that I saw, they were engaging in stuff. It just didn't happen to be, hey, we just got a check, and it's funding these great programs or anything. It was like, just other posts.
friendly because they're local, you know, the other one, it's not as easy other places. Yep. So we are working on that. This is just, I know our connections with the schools, you know, is something that we're looking to deepen. So I just thought I would share. I got an email from a social worker at Fallbrook Union Elementary School. They're hiring 5 new social workers. So they'll have one in each site. And they consider what we're doing of such importance that they want to schedule a tour to have all 5 social workers trained on what's happening at the Community Health and Wellness Center.
That's
That's
awesome.
with an actual term, that's part of their onboarding. So I thought that was, you know,
That's huge.
definitely have some attention there.
Excellent.
We had the presentation where we, with the Age Well Drive Smart, which was an introduction to the sheriff. So on another note, that officer, you know, got back in touch with me to ask us to make connections to the school for him, because they used to have driving classes here. So I gave him contacts, you know, to the different schools. So, you know, that kind of like web of connections, just, you know, there's just so much happening with that. In terms of outreach events, we were at the Fallbrook Family Health Center backpack giveaway. So Jasmine was able to be there. And Katia did a presentation to a collaborative on border health through the Mexican consulate. So and that was really wonderful that in her short time with us, they thought what she was offering in that group, this was all on her own. She received this invitation to speak about the health district. So that was great. I think it was about 20-something people from all over San Diego County and Mexico where she presented to. We're invited to present about our DPP lifestyle change to the County of San Diego at the Be There Summit. So the mayor of San Diego and other, you know, important people will be there.
And Jennifer is representing us,
Yes.
and there is room for one more board member.
Yeah, got your email. I was gonna
Yeah.
check on that one. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
try to make that actually.
Sounds good. So
Okay.
just some other local.
Two's good. We can
Yeah,
do 2, okay.
two's the max.
Okay.
Just some other local things that we're working on is table, you know, Katya's been at the food pantry each month to do tabling events and start to work on that connection with the community and build trust, as well as Vallecito School. She's going to also attend monthly meetings for the Farm Workers Care Coalition. And then we pass along information to some of the agricultural businesses, you know, growers in the area. So that all being said, June, summer-wise, was our attendance to date at the Community Health and Wellness Center with probably it's about 1,000, because maybe we missed a person or two, but 992, you know, visits to the center.
I feel
So-
1,000 coming up here in a close somewhere.
Yeah, and probably we're right about there, but you know, our process
Get the
is.
balloons.
So,
I want the glitter gun.
yeah.
Exactly. 1,000 person, you know, have that ceremony of, this is 1,000 person site.
So we're continuing to do our standard with flyers, with, you know, the email marketing continues, to go strong. And, then social, you know, our website views are increasing.
Mhm.
Social media is going good with, you know, new, followers on Instagram and Facebook. So I don't know if there's anything you want to add to the, it stands out with the report.
In terms of followers with Facebook and Instagram, it has increased. For Facebook, we're at 1,100 now. In July and June, we were at, just at 1,000. With Instagram, we were in June at 546. As of today, we're at 581. So, we are slowly increasing, and people are finding us on our social media platforms.
That's good. Yep, excellent.
So I did do some screenshots of, you know, like some of the posts that were doing well. And so I know Bill had asked about kind of those public, like PSA type announcements and health, information is particularly in terms of the sun. But I just did a screenshot of one of the things we did in July, which has to do with it's social, okay,
Social
awareness. Social Awareness Month. And so we did some strategies on how to improve, your social health, linked to the presentation we had today on, social health routines. So we're continuing to do that each month. That's in our docket of things to do. So next month has some, sun protection tips and, things of that nature.
I like this post particularly because it shows people attending,
Yeah.
which is gonna start creating, oh wait, this must be really cool.
So that social pressure, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
and again, this is a key point to having Jasmine on the team. By having her available to say, oh my gosh, this event is crazy. She can be available to get over, get
Yep.
pictures of it, get the scope of it, be able to use our language, our feel,
Mhm.
and have it be real time,
Absolutely.
makes a big difference.
For sure,
Mhm.
absolutely agree.
So I guess the other thing we're looking at is like really not just trying to work on not just the vanity type metrics, but also like how much engagement are we getting? Are they clicking on
Yep.
these
Clicking and
posts?
staying.
Are they
Yep.
going to our website? Are they registering?
Yep.
So starting to look at some of those points so that we can have an impact that really pushes us forward within the social media.
Agreed. It's good.
I'm back on. Can everybody hear me? Awesome. I just wanted to say, I appreciate the report. It looked good. I appreciate also kind of reporting out on the, like kind of public awareness, health campaign type deal that we kind of discussed a little bit in strategic planning. Just want to note on that. I think that that's a really good idea. And in this committee, sometimes we kind of get, maybe we get a little carried away on our marketing side of things as far as marketing the district and kind of what we do and getting more likes and all that sort of stuff. All that's obviously really important. But at its heart, we kind of talked about our mission and what we do here. And a big part of it is trying to improve the health, of people in the community. So I definitely like that aspect of it and hope to kind of see more of that, because I think that we can kind of be out there kind of promoting something like this, improving mental health, or whether it be like the fentanyl awareness, or like you mentioned, the potential for heat stroke with the temperatures. We're kind of promoting the district, and we're also kind of working towards our mission, which is doing something about somebody's health. So I appreciate that, and as always, the report was very detailed, and I appreciate that. So thank you.
Yep, I agree.
Thank you.
Seeing us in action.
So unless you have any questions.
I do not have any questions. Thank you. I just dropped this one in real quickly, just, any upcoming community events where you need us there to help out, be there. I just like to, I'm sure we're gonna get pulled into that, but I always like to make sure that we're not missing something or an opportunity where we need to be there to help support something that's going on, so.
Yeah, and response to that really has more to do with if we need a requirement to have you show up, obviously Teresa will, or Jasmine, or one of us will reach out and say, hey, I have 2 spots, can you be, we will typically reach out to you. Bill, we would reach out to you, but you're not available during the day so much. If something comes up on the weekend, we're gonna tag you first.
Absolutely.
Jennifer is already connected to a lot of things, so she's a natural, but we will toss that out to the board.
Okay.
And then obviously soon you'll get the site visit invites to the
Okay.
grantees.
Good.
Those are requirements. Anything that is community
Mhm.
that we have on our calendar, it's always amazing to have board members show up. Because you're involved in the chamber, I've already seen you run into things.
Yeah.
where you're gonna see us.
Right.
It doesn't hurt, but we don't require board members to go to those.
Okay, I just, yeah, if there's something, some event or, hey, we'd be great if you could show up, just, throw it out there.
Yeah,
If I can make it, I will, because, it's always fun to see it in action and talk to folks and get connected there too.
We have that, what is it, the Lions Club event coming up. I'm sure that that's something that we can kind of get some board member action on, right? Is it that, gift of sight visit?
we're actually parsing that with our Eye on Health event, so that'll be that September 30th event that we're hosting. They're part of that. So that will, as we get a little more, closer to it, we'll toss that out to the board and see who is interested and where we can, place you for tasks. Yeah.
Hey, just real quick, kind of on that subject, Mike, I don't know if you got the email about the ACHD committees. I don't know if you would be interested in potentially working with ACHD on their potentially their advocacy committee or education, or I think those are definitely good opportunities to kind of get more I guess ideas from other districts and kind of set the tone for our marketing strategy. I'm not sure if you're interested in any of that.
I'm interested in reviewing, with balancing a couple things going on. Yes, I did see that and I am looking at that for sure.
Okay. If it helps, I served on their committees a couple times, and it was mainly Zooms. So
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if that helps. I think the big kind of legislative deal as far as they go is the Ledge Days event. I think that's in April or March or April. So that's gonna.
Oh, yeah.
To see on there if you're available. But anyhow, I saw that on there. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Thanks, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Last one is the letter of opposition to AB 3999.
Right. And obviously, I already communicated with both of you about this before I sent it out. This letter is in opposition of AB 399, which, although it's titled Water Ratepayers Protection Act of 2023, County Water Authority, the reason that we are taking a stand is that while it seemingly on the surface is about Fallbrook Public Utility District and Rainbow Municipal Water District and their detachment from the San Diego Water Authority, this particular assembly bill creates an opening that would minimize local control and self-determination of special districts, and puts the power back into the larger entity. So in our case, it could mean that the county could decide that they want to put to vote what programs could happen at the wellness center. And while that may seem like a bit of a stretch, this kind of erosion of local control is really against the very nature of special districts.
Right.
So communicated to our committee here. And then obviously, Mike, you were already at the public forum meeting with me where you heard about this. So I went
Through the chamber.
and the chamber and many places in town.
Yes, indeed.
So I went to Noelle at FPUD and she gave me a couple of templates. So I copied what some of the other districts are also providing. So this is the letter that has already been sent to Keen over at LAFCO. He's their executive director. And then CC to Marie Waldron's office, Assemblywoman Waldron and Senator Jones. And then to the chairwoman of the committee that oversees this, which is Anna Caballero. Her district is obviously not in touch with ours, but since she chairs that committee, it goes directly to her. So that has already been submitted. So this is just more a follow-up to show that it was submitted, and then it'll be in the minutes of the board packet. So we probably won't talk about it again. Jeff may bring it up as part of his legal conversation, but just, it's
Okay.
more for, we've already done this.
Thank you for sending it out.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Board comments, any future agenda items? I do not have any at this particular second, but I'm sure as I get closer to it, I'll think of something. Or we won't have the meeting.
Well, I think, as far as the August timeline, we really won't have anything too specific.
Okay.
So it'll be up to you if you guys have.
I'll see if
comments.
anything pops up. If not, we'll push it off because it's summer fun. Like I said, I don't like having meetings unless we got something to talk about, so.
Right. And I would venture to guess September will be busy because we'll be in full swing for the Ion Health event.
That one I may actually not be here. I may be able to actually attend that one via Zoom. I think I'm gonna be in Mammoth for that one. But if we can Zoom from Mammoth, that's fun.
Yeah, so August 23rd is when the next meeting would be scheduled.
Okay.
But I will be returning from vacation back to the district on the 22nd. So far as agenda
I'll load it up
preparation.
then.
You know what happens
Rachel,
when,
Rachel.
you know what happens when you put stuff on an agenda and I'm not here? I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna edit it. You know, that's what it's my job.
It's all open and fun. Let's see the September one here, just for, I wanna see where that landed. September landed, yeah, I'm actually, I'm gonna be in Mammoth, but I could, if there's a lot going on, I could zoom in.
What
So
is
that would be
September 27th
27th, yeah.
would be that meeting. We won't be having a September board meeting. Because everybody will be at CSDA.
Oh, yeah.
Or no, we'll
No.
be at ACHD.
That's in August, right?
We got some stuff going on, right,
No,
in
end of
August.
August is HCHD, that's the one I'm hitting, right?
You know, you're going to CSDA,
In August,
That's,
end of August,
correct.
yes. So it's HCHD is the other one in
Right.
September. Got it, and I'm not attending.
Yeah. They need to have them separated out more.
They
so
do need
we're-
to spread it, that seems like really tight.
Well, and normally, well, I can't say normally. I've been the only one who's ever gone to anything in the last few years. So, Bill's promotion of this to other board members and having new board members has sparked interest in other people attending again, which I think is good. I think Howard went with me to ACHD last year, but that's been it. No one else has gone to CSDA in a long time, so it's good. I think normally what would happen is we would have more folks who would go to one and then the other.
Okay.
This particular time, because you're newer board members,
Right.
it's important that we have more representation at CSDA, so
Good, all right,
it shouldn't clump up as normal.
all right, good. Well, I will send out thoughts on August and September then. Whether we have a meeting or no meeting on August, sounds like it's probably not gonna be a lot going on. And then September, we'll have it, but I'll be zooming it, so that's fine.
Yeah.
That's all good. With that, I would like to adjourn this meeting.
All right, easy enough.
oh, I didn't hear it.
You might want to act.
Gonna do it harder, see what happens.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, thank you, appreciate it. See you guys.